Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
Yeah, it's 2025, and for some reason, I foolishly thought that no matter which way the election would go, that maybe everybody would kind of calm down compared to 2016, 2017. And that is not happening.
No.
We've got several instances, several anecdotes about video game professionals in particular flipping the hell out about Trump and all of that. And in fact, we've got one quote unquote gentleman, I'm using that term very lightly, who wishes for death for MAGA people. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't tweet that. I really wouldn't tweet that because there are
he did. He put it on Facebook.
Well, we're going to talk about that because there are people posting shit like this on social media and they're losing their jobs. They're getting fired. Teachers and employees at other companies. Let's talk about the insanity. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to clownfish-minus.com. It helps support the Reef, and you can join the Plus Club. You can also join it here on YouTube and on Locals. And yeah, let's talk about this. We have multiple examples of far left ideology run amok in the video game industry. We've got, this is coming from Grums. This is the Blizzard technical artist and associate art director of Gearbox, both wishing for death to 50% of America. Okay, let's see here. So we got Kyle Jacob Hickey, works at Blizzard, lives in Georgia. He says
went to Art Institute of Pittsburgh.
Went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh on January 21st. So this is not like a last year thing or an 8-year ago thing. On January 21st, kill your local MAGA. And there's some of the people that have liked it. Yeah, Max Davenport. Okay, so Max Davenport is the associate art director at Gearbox, lead concept artist at Gearbox. Yes, this is not something you want to post publicly because people will screen cap it just like this, and you're literally wishing for death on people.
Still up. It is. I checked. Still had it up earlier.
It's still up.
It was this afternoon.
So I have to apologize to people because I kept thinking, because you keep seeing these YouTube thumbnails that are like, they want us dead. They want us dead. And after like 30 or 40 of those, you're like, oh my God. Okay. Who wants us dead now? Sometimes it's hyperbole and sometimes it isn't. These people in particular literally want harm to come to people who voted differently than them.
But they still want your money.
They still want your money. Yeah. So we'll skip around here a little bit. So this recently happened to us. There is a person who runs a convention here in Western Central PA, and it's a pretty sizable convention. And I posted something, and I don't post on Facebook very often. I posted one thing the other day, and it's probably the first time in like 3 years I posted something on Facebook. I only use Messenger to talk.
Yeah, and what it was about was we were talking about like how ironic it is that people on Facebook are. It was like if you're a Trump supporter, unfollow me, or you should do this, and I'm like, but you're using Facebook. And Facebook is run by Zuckerberg,
yes,
who is like right there sucking up to Trump. I mean, whoever, he probably just suck up to everyone. But my point is, it's kind of ironic. And that's basically what Neon posted, was it's probably not smart to say that on Facebook when it's run by Zuckerberg.
That's exactly what I said.
That's all he said. And this person, who is very, very, very politically pickled, they'd been for years, jumped in and was like, I can still personally blame each individual who voted for him. They are simple Nazis in my eyes, family or not. They are Nazi supporters. To this, I mentioned him and I mentioned his convention. And I said, I'm sure the people and your guests of your convention would love it if you would tell them this to their face, because you want their money. And a lot of the people in that area definitely would have voted for Trump. I know
Central Pennsylvania, they would have.
I've been to that convention many times. We were some of the first people, at his show. He actually gave us a personal thank you before for supporting his show. We've not changed.
No, we haven't changed.
He was having a meltdown, and I was like, I dare you to post on your page that if you voted for Trump, you are a simple Nazi, and you are not supposed, and you know, you're not supposed to come to your show and give you money, because if you take their money, then aren't you a Nazi supporter? To which he then removed his post and then blocked me. So now I might get put on a block list for cons, because he was a batshit moron. And I just said, hey, it's probably not smart, because a lot of your customers that you take money from are Trump supporters. So maybe you want to rethink that. To which, you know, I'm the bad guy somehow.
A lot of his guests are too. I can actually.
Yes, some of his guests have been. I know for a fact are.
Several of his guests I know for a fact lean conservative, and if they found out that this particular con organizer,
we're not going to say who,
no,
unless I get put on a list, and then if I do, I'm definitely going to say who.
If it turns out that we are not allowed to show our faces in the Pittsburgh con scene ever, because apparently we've been hearing from people after the fact that there is a block list out there, because we used to get invited to cons all the time. I mean, we don't. Anymore.
We didn't do anything other than say, hey, you know, it's probably not smart. Maybe if you're going to feel that way, you need to let your guests know that you hate them.
Yeah.
You know, the potential customers know you don't want their money, and that's just it. They want to post this stuff, but they still want your money. So if you take money from people you hate, that makes you a supporter.
Yeah, so this guy's just seething. I've seen it on some other boards that I've been a member of. That, again, I don't post very often on Facebook, but
that's why you don't.
This is exactly why I don't. But it's starting again. Like, it's already started. Like, I thought this time for me it felt differently, because I do know personally of a lot of people that were anti-Trump in 2016 that actually voted for Trump this time, because they're like, he's the last best chance we have. That's their opinion.
It's the best choice we were given.
And you're allowed to disagree with that. You're allowed to hate him.
Yeah,
but
that's just it. Like, if you don't have to agree. That's completely fine. You can totally hate him. Understandable, completely fine. The line is crossed, though, when you're wishing death upon people.
Wishing for death upon people.
When you're wishing harm. That's when the line gets crossed. And I'm just like, and these people, they keep doing this, and all the hypocrisy that I'm trying to point out is, but you want their money. Or you're doing it on a platform run by people you claim you hate. Why don't just leave the platform? Because they need it. They need the money. They need the platform.
They need the money.
They're hypocrites.
So it is kind of like, I mean, I feel bad on some level, because I'm like, sometimes you have to starve a cold, right?
I don't want to do that, but they're just deep.
Don't give money, because this is what they're going to do. They're going to take the money that you give them, and they're going to keep their jobs, and then they're going to shit on you as their, you know what I'm saying? So this is what they're saying publicly. What are people like this who are just so, like you would say, politically pickled? What are they saying behind closed doors? What are they saying in discourse? You know, what are they like? I mean, if you're openly wishing for death on people on Facebook, what the hell are you saying in private? Are you fantasizing about it? Are you posting people's addresses?
A lot of people, when you're face to face with people, don't say this stuff. It's when they think that they can say it, you know, without punishment or whatever. But that's stupid, because you're putting your name on it. You're not even being anonymous. But they can't seem to understand that, you know, you're not, you know, you can post it, but eat it with your name on it. That's a really bad idea. People are getting fired for this kind of stuff. Just, you're allowed to be mad. It's okay to be mad. I understand that, but you're not allowed to take it this far.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to realize, I mean, this is, you know, even if I completely disagree with your politics, right? And there are a lot of people who work in the creative industries who have very different politics than me, and that's fine. That's okay. You know, you find some common ground. You know, you're free to hate on Trump. You're free to whatever. You can be like, yeah, I'm disappointed people put him back in office, but you know, you're talking half the country, right? You're talking half the country.
Half, yeah.
More than half. And you know, to call them all Nazis and basically they're subhuman, and you hope that they die or wither away or get starved, and they fantasize. Well, these people fantasize about it.
To be fair, the person who runs the con is one of the most narcissistic people I've ever seen in my life. and that's saying something.
What is so weird about that particular person is that I know he fetishizes Steve Jobs, and I'm like, boy, I hate to tell you about Apple. I hate to tell you about his protege, Tim Cook, and which way he's going now. I hope you got rid of your iPhone there, because and I hope you're not using any technology from Google or any of these other companies, because you know they're just run by a bunch of Nazis. So this is the CEO of Activision, and we're going to talk about this because now it's getting, they're going to double down on DEI, I guess. So this is going to lead
I mean, it's supposed to be like you're not supposed to do that, but they can do that if they want to. I mean, it's their company,
private company. But the thing is that gamers, customers can choose not to support it because what happens, I think when you broadcast that you're all about that, I think you attract people like Mr. Anti-MAGA, who's like, yes, we're going to stick it. You know what I'm saying? It's like for all the talk of like, oh, the right-wing chuds and there's dog whistles. I'm like, well, this too, I believe, is a dog whistle that tells people, it tells consumers and employees and potential employees that you are left-wing activists and you're going to get people like
left-wing
Chaz. Yeah, you want to be Chaz, right? So good luck with that, because right now, as I understand, Microsoft isn't making very much money off of you guys. But given the headlines around diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in the workplace, it's no surprise that questions have come up about what the future looks like at Activision, whether our focus and priorities around DEI shift. To be clear, this work continues to be extremely important in everything that we do. It's important to our games, our culture, and who we are as a company.
Oh, yay. It sounds like more of the same.
More of the same. Our inclusive growth team has made great strides in helping us weave inclusivity into all aspects of business. Our strategy here remains focused on enhancing the experiences of all employees, providing exceptional experiences to players globally, and providing accessible opportunities to those interacting with our company and brand. I look forward to all the great work we'll continue to do together. So Grum's actually, because apparently Call of Duty gives to veterans. I did not know this, which is cool, but this might be a conflict of interest given the way that the wind is blowing now, and given the way.
I just think that if it's your company, you should be allowed to. If you want to keep that, you can. But the people don't have to support you if you do. I have no problem with actual, organic diversity and inclusion. People are hired because they've earned it and they're the best and they happen to be diverse. Zero problem with that. I have no problem with being, making sure there's different representation in games. I have no problem with that. The problem when it becomes like, ham-fisted narrative bullshit, that's when the problem arises. And if they're going to double down on it, that's their choice. I mean, I think they have a right to do that if they want to. But people have a right to not support it if they don't want to.
Here's where it gets tricky. So according to Grums,
yes.
Yeah, I did not know this. According to Grums, Activision has a joint program with the Department of Defense. So they have an endowment program, which is government money. And
if it's government, you're not allowed to use DEI.
And you're not allowed to bury it or call it something else. Yeah. So they might reevaluate that relationship and be like, well, we're not going to bankroll.
That's sad because then veterans aren't going to get it. You know what I mean? It's going to hurt veterans. But I'm sure they're only giving it to the correct kind of veteran.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I would like to know. Again, this is the first I've heard of it, but I would like to see who they're actually giving it to. If it's such a part of their culture, it's probably the politically correct veterans. If I had to guess. So let's talk about this here real quick before we wrap this video.
Oh yeah, this one was hilarious.
This is insane. So for those of you who don't know, Stuttering Craig from Side Scrollers had the Real Game Awards a couple of days ago, and I actually got to present one of them. I got to present the best action game, but apparently there was some drama around it. Of course there was, because, God forbid you have an awards ceremony that exists outside of the vetted, approved video game media ecosystem. But the person who had the best racing game, apparently it's Nightmare Kart 1, and this actually looks pretty cool. I have not played this game, but it looks like a PlayStation 1 game. It looks like it, actually. Yeah, it actually looks pretty cool. It looks like something like a cross between like Twisted Metal and Castlevania, and it actually looks very, very cool. And now
I would have played it. Now I won't.
I know, right? I'm like, this actually looks really good. I think I came across this, but it's got like a 10 out of 10. Like, it's got ridiculously good scores, and it just came out, in June. Well, they won.
It says May said May, but they didn't release it to June. Okay.
Yeah, it came out in June.
Okay.
So they got the award, and they don't want it. They want to give it back because
they're under the impression that it's some kind of anti-woke thing, and it's like it wasn't. It was just anti-game journo.
The Angry Video Game Nerd actually presented too, which I was surprised, but I think him and Craig go back a ways. But yeah, so they want to give the award back. This is a PSX Bunlith So honored to have won the coveted Anti-Woke Game Awards Best Racing Game category as a trans woman. It's so comforting to see them prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion. Well, you won on merit. You didn't win because you were trans.
No one cared.
Nobody cared.
I mean, but my point is that this is the point. Like, you're going to scream about it, but it didn't matter to people. Like, you're going to say, well, they're anti-woke and they hate me and all this other stuff. Clearly they didn't. They liked your game. They didn't care. Based on merit, they didn't care that you were trans. Why would they?
Yeah, right. Your game was good. I mean, that's the thing. It shouldn't matter. I know there was some controversy a couple of years ago about the person who developed one of the early Super NES emulators, and apparently I've heard multiple stories, but I think the person unfortunately wound up taking their own life. But I nobody knew that, to the best of my knowledge, most people didn't even know that the developer was trans. It was not anything that had anything to do with conversation. Now everybody wears it on their sleeve literally, or on their bio literally, but back then it was like, okay, you're trans, and so what? You're a good developer. Like, who gives a shit, right? But they want to give it back. They said, rescind my reward. I did not give you permission. You never asked for permission, like every other award show that has approached me.
Wait, you have to ask for permission?
I didn't know you had to
Okay.
ask for permission to nominate somebody for that. This is true for other devs games you put in your show. You did not ask. Remove it now.
He's like, no.
He said, in fact, use promo code CART to get $5 off your memberships. Oh boy. Valiant Renegade says we should make him a trophy and send it. Oh geez. No, look, this is the thing, right? Now as good as your game is, you've just sent a flare up to people that you hate them if they supported this,
but interesting.
Award show.
She hates them, but people didn't hate her and voted for her game. But yet they're the one. But what I'm saying is, doesn't that kind of just blow the narrative out of the water? They hate you because you're trans. They didn't. They gave you the award, but you hate them because you think there's something that they're not too. You know what I'm saying? It's like, who's the tolerant one here?
Well, that's kind of like one of my favorite games is Vampire Survivors. I love Vampire. I love Vampire Survivors. If I get 15 minutes to play a game,
he's in the kitchen playing it on the
Switch.
handheld.
Yeah, but I love Vampire Survivors. Right, I've been playing it for a couple of years now, and I freaking love the game. I know Jim/Stephanie Sterling works on Vampire Survivors, and I think I might be blocked by Jim/Stephanie Sterling. I do not care. I do not care if Jim/Stephanie Sterling does not like me personally or thinks I'm a terrible person or whatever. They're one of many people that worked on the game, and the game is very good. And I can say that. And there are people I know in comics and in animation that I'm sure probably don't like us very much, but they make good stuff. And if they make good stuff, they make good stuff. Right. And
right. And I shake my head because I'm just like, we didn't even do anything wrong other than say, animation's in trouble. How dare you?
We might talk. We might talk more about that too, because there's more anecdotal evidence that animation is indeed.
It's just funny to me. It's just, and then like this, people didn't care, gave her the award anyway, because it didn't matter to them. They're just like, you did a good game, and we like your game, and we vote for you. How dare you? But if they didn't win, it would be because you hate trans people.
Meritocracy. Oh my God. How very dare you?
I want a meritocracy. I better make a big show and give it back, or otherwise I'll get canceled.
Actually, I'm telling you, I am wondering if that is what is actually going on. Because a lot of times, these people don't virtue signal until they get pressure. So what probably happens, probably in the Discord or something, somebody told them, well, did you know that you won a Bigot Award? And oh my God, we can't have that. It'd be a real shame. It'd be a real shame if you accepted the Bigot Award. Did you give them permission to get the Bigot Award? And they had Angry Video Game Nerd there too. How very dare they? Because they were trying to blame him for Ghostbusters 2016.
I remember it.
He had no interest. He had no interest in seeing a reboot of Ghostbusters 2016. He wasn't going to review it. That he is allowed to say, I have no interest in a reboot of my favorite movie.
Right. Most people were saying that. That was the number one comment. Not women. They just didn't see why we needed another one. Right. That was what they said. And that's the same thing he said.
So there we go, guys. I thought it was hyperbole, but some of these people literally do wish you dead. They don't want anything to do with you. It's going to be very interesting. And we're only a week into this, right? We're only a week into it. And already, like, I was feeling, I don't know if they thought that they had it in the bag this time with Harris or what.
I think they really did. That's why they're so upset. They truly thought they were told that they were going to win.
Because everything seemed like it was kind of chilling out a little bit. And then once the reality set in, that, yeah, Trump's here and he's doing what he said he was going to do. Oh, my God. Now everybody's like, well, just kick all the Nazis out of the country. It's like, what are you going to do? Move to Canada? That might be the 51st state. Yeah.
I really wish he'd stop saying that. But anyway, yeah.
I don't know.
Come on. But anyway. Yeah, it's just insane. But then meanwhile, I see other people that were Democrats who voted for Harris who are doing videos like, wow, he's actually doing what he said he's going to do, and he's actually doing something, and oh my gosh, So I think we need to give it a few months and see where you're at before people start getting to this level of crazy. But here we are.
Yeah, so good luck with all that. And again, Activision's going to enable it because they're flat saying they're all about the DEI and they're totally going to enable it. But I think what could potentially happen in this case is Microsoft is hurting for money. Microsoft lays some people off, and you just happen to be one of the people that get laid off. Purely coincidental, I'm sure. I'm sure they're making lists right now. So anyway, you're going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.